Now we review 2017's The Monster Project. Is it like a really big project? I mean, that's what it sounds like, a really big project. No? Really? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, in probably one of the most Los Angeles horror movies I have ever seen in my life. The Monster Project is the story of a YouTuber who recruits his best friend, his ex-girlfriend, and a junkie in order to make a thingy where he interviews a skinwalker, a woman possessed by a demon, and a vampire in an old creepy house. I think it's on like Halloween or winter solstice or something. Or no, lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipse, yes. So yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of starting out with relationship drama and first world problems. Somewhere midway through it becomes a we're trapped in the house horror movie, and then the twist is a little silly. Little silly there. I mean, I will have to say I thought the special effects were pretty good, and the use of camera work is one of those things you should really be paying attention to with this movie. I mean, look, I'm a YouTube geek. Obviously, I'm talking to you across a YouTube video. So I understand the idea of, putting it out there. And the Monster Project is this filmmaker's like, I'm looking for real monsters. He puts out a Craigslist ad, fake monsters, actors need not apply. If you really think that you're some kind of a monster, talk to me, dude. Let's interview you. And it's like, okay, I've seen stuff like this in the past, and it's one of those things about these types of twists. They're long, super long game twists, and they're kind of like, they put a hole in the plot sort of things. It's not like the High Tension, which is probably one of the largest plot holes in film history, but it's like kind of like, well, that doesn't really jive. The comic relief character isn't funny, he's the black guy, and, he's kind of, but he's the black guy, I mean, he's playing a very stereotypical character, which is a weaker character by definition. It's like, it's one of those things, you want to subvert expectations by creating characters that you don't expect. Complex characters, strange characters. These characters weren't terribly complex. Probably the most complex of the characters was the junkie, who, I mean, he's supposed to have been clean, and then, he has this moment where he says, look at your son, Mom. It's like you're talking about your mom. That's what really hurts you, the fact that you've disappointed your mother? Wow. Wish we could have gotten more time with this character. That's really deep, actually. I like that. Great part of this movie. No other character gets a moment like that. No other character gets that true moment of who they are, just an insight into who they are. There's just no character that has that strength. So the other characters are a little weak. You've got the douchebag who's making this film. Yes, he is a douchebag. He is as douchebags do. He's not like, in the end, I'm really doing this for a good reason. He's just a douchebag. And, yeah, it's a little one-dimensional. The ex-girlfriend character, she's an ex-girlfriend. She does and says ex-girlfriend-y things. And she doesn't, really move beyond that. There's no, super reveal that's like, oh, I left the relationship because you were getting abusive, or because, I was afraid that you were was taking too much out of you as an artist or something like that. It's not some, powerful reveal. And, the friend is just a friend. It's just, these things, very one-dimensional sort of things with filmmaking. But Again, where this film shines the most is the use of, like black and white and film quality to sell the effects. And there's a lot of what you don't see, but it's like, yeah, I will admit here in the part where the monsters are really coming after you, that's a really solid part. Those monsters are coming after you, and it's very believable, all right? Maybe not the most believable thing in the world, but it's believable enough. So yeah, I mean, this film, The Monster Project, I'm going to say it's a pretty solid horror movie. If you like horror movies, it's the upper middle of your watch list. If you're not a horror movie fan, it's more towards the middle of your watch list. It's not profound. It's not a movie that you're going to be like, wow, I want a sequel to that, or I'd like another one of those. It is a movie that is going to scratch the horror itch. It is well done. It is solid. It's one of those movies that I almost hate to review because I don't have a lot of interesting things to say about it, but it's competently made. The writing is solid enough, and it is an enjoyable movie. So yes, I do recommend The Monster Project. I don't think it's an incredible movie. I don't think it's a super great movie, but it is a movie, and it does well. Anyway, that's just my opinion. I'd love to hear yours in the comments below. I'm Richard.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Fred the Facehugger, and I'd like to point out that this world isn't a nice place. But you know who's trying to make it a nice place? The owner of this channel, yes. The owner of this channel does things like pay for ocean cleanup, and have trees planted, and even feed orphans in an orphanage in Mexico. Yes, it's a real thing. I'm not kidding. I may be a face-hugging alien from a horror movie, but I'm not a liar. Anyway, when you comment, like, and subscribe, you're supporting that better world, and whereas it may not make a big difference, it may be the difference between one more tree planted, one more pound of trash out of the ocean, or one child not going hungry tonight. So, think about it. Shouldn't you comment? Shouldn't you like? Shouldn't you subscribe? I certainly would if I were you. I'm Fred.